Hello and welcome to another edition of On Location. I'm Arthur Schenk. In with me is County Executive Mark Hackle, Shelby Township Supervisor Rick Stathakis. Gentlemen, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you too, Art.
Big things were happening in the township this not only this week but this past week in the business end. You guys look handsome all of a sudden. You look pretty
We're
good.
up in our game, man. I get a little
We
jealous.
like your look. We're trying to copy your look,
I
Art.
saw that last interview and I'm thinking to myself, this guy had the sexy specs on. That ain't happening again.
You
Okay.
guys look so much smarter.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
See?
That's the best thing anybody said
I'm
about
watching,
me in
I'm
about
thinking,
3
now,
weeks.
now I got to work on my game with the suit. Look at the suit.
Oh,
guy.
this is off the rack though. Come
Off the
on, I'm
rack,
sure.
get out of here. Nordstrom rack.
So what do you think?
Are you kidding me?
For a buck, I look smarter.
You
It's
do,
worth,
I know.
worth the investment.
They
Thank
are
you.
$1.
They
Whoa.
are nice. They are
Who
nice
needs
looking.
that educational system, you know, for college education? They put a pair of glasses on, you look smart.
Well, smarty pants.
Yeah, okay.
So some big stuff going on here in the township on the business
I thought we were
end.
going to redo this. What are you doing? You're
We,
still
uh,
continuing on?
Why
Is this
not?
going
Jocularity works.
Well, we like the, I thought it was going to be one of those outtake moments, you know, but it's okay if you want to roll with it. I'm good.
We can roll. Well, let's
You're the
see.
guy running
Oh,
the
keep
show.
going. No, this is good stuff.
We'll,
Keep
we'll
going.
see where it goes. Well, Grupo Antolín finally finished a major project here in the township. A little under a year that this has been going on, and it's the process was really expedited with the help of the county and the township. Tell me your initial thoughts going into this, and then we'll take a look at the event.
Well, you know, it's nice to know that the county sees a value in Shelby Township because obviously without the county being involved and the state of Michigan, we would not have gotten the 800 plus jobs that we have now. So we're really, really happy about it. And it really started back in 2012 with a vision of Gene DiAgostini, who wanted to put up some manufacturing operational plants on Shelby Parkway Drive, and it's worked out really well. So that's probably one of the last operations to go up. But since 2012, you know, we're looking at about 1,500 plus jobs right here in Shelby Township. And the good thing about it is they're manufacturing jobs, which means that there's a lot of created wealth, new wealth in Shelby Township, in contrast to commercial operations where you just have, you know, businesses exchanging money. We're actually extracting money from all over the country, all over the world. And as a result, I think we're in a good spot to continue to reign as Macomb County's #1 low-cost, full-value township.
And you stop and you think about it. I mean, exactly what Rick is saying is correct. Obviously, the value of Shelby Township is, you know, somewhat the same thing we look at all 27 municipalities in Macomb County. But Shelby Township's uniqueness is they're the ones that are sitting there trying to figure out how do they drive the economic development opportunities there. And having a guy like Gene DiAgostini who understands economic development, but the willingness to partner, you know, with the local county as well as the state level, and to try to figure out how do they look at that prime piece of real estate that they had there and how does it fit into it. If you think about the development over the decades here in Macomb County, started off in that corridor, if you will, around Van Dyke and Mound Road, moving north. And you'll see what's happened in the city of Warren, and then obviously through Sterling Heights. I mean, that real estate in and around that area, I don't know that you could find anywhere else in the entire country that has that same value. Well, Gene, obviously, with the you know, the park that he has over here in Shelby Township, realized, you know, what an incredible opportunity for growth. You know, not just for Shelby Township, but for Macomb County, and as well as what we do is manufacturing and industry. So, with that, his vision to try to figure out how does he pull people together and put himself out there to say, hey, I got this real estate. There's a lot we can do, and it fits, you know, strategically into what we've always seen here in Macomb County. Gives us the opportunity to say, you know what, from a planning department, how do we work with Shelby Township, who's incredibly willing to do so, to make this a reality.
Well, you gentlemen were there at the ribbon cutting, so let's show the folks at home just some of the festivities. Just about a year ago, global automotive parts supplier Grupo Antolín broke ground on their 368,000 square foot facility here in Cherry Creek Industrial Park.
We had a very short window of opportunity. The Antolin organization approached us, and they had been looking at another location that they were much further along on, and they approached us and said, here's our timetable. Can you do it?
When I first approached the board on this whole project, they didn't think we could pull it off. In Spain and other countries, it takes a lot longer process to make all that happen. So, not that they had their doubts, but we really had to keep them informed the whole way. And a big part of all that was making sure that we had the cash flow ready to go to do that. And obviously, with the Antolin family, they're 100% stepping up to the plate to make all this happen.
Before we said yes, we met with the community. We met with Shelby Township because we absolutely needed their help and support to make this happen.
When you're looking at a facility this size with the operational goals that they had to meet the expectations of their customer, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, that was the first thing. Could we build this building? Could we get all the permits, the approvals, all the sign-offs that we needed? And that was the commitment from the Augustini family. And once we had that, it was just going and checking the boxes, step by step, engaging the boards and commissions, working with the Shelby Township trustees. Everyone along the way knew the importance of this proposal, and more importantly, the strategic advantage this company would have in Shelby.
Now Grupo Antolin celebrates the official grand opening of the factory in front of many of those who helped facilitate the huge accomplishment in such a short time.
Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, cut!
We literally had 9 months to build the building, and unfortunately we hadn't even had a complete set of plans. So we weren't even ready to submit plans when we were given the go-ahead. So we had to do the plans, we had to get the reviews, and fortunately the township agreed to do the reviews in sequence, in effect fast-track the project, and that's what made it possible. Had we had to completely gotten the plan review and then start, we could have never done it. This building is the biggest building we've done as an organization. We've done a lot of fairly large buildings, but this is the largest. It's a wonderful building. It's a state-of-the-art building, and we went the extra mile to add componentry that just increases value and increases the versatility.
One of the many benefits of high-end manufacturing is the employment opportunities that come with it. Grupo Antolin currently employs around 800 people at this plant and could see hiring many more, especially when it comes to skilled positions.
Not only do we want to help achieve people with a better education, but we supported them. And I'm proud to say that we've had 3 graduates come out of the MTech class that have been very successful, and that's how we've been able to make this facility successful. So thank you very much for Macomb Community College.
Skilled positions were a little bit more challenging because the market is so rich right now. That was why we paired up with MTech, and we really thought outside the box and said, we need to create our own. And going back to selecting people and allowing them to go to MTech while paying them, guaranteeing them a job, and we've got 3 successful people into that program, and we're going to keep continuing doing that.
It's empowering. It's just great to know that we have 800 people coming to work here every single day that are making some of the greatest products that are being sold all throughout the world. When you see these automobiles driving down the street or on the showroom floor, it's just great to know that our community has got a thumbprint on that.
We've been very happy of doing business here in the U.S. and especially in the area of Michigan. Southeast Michigan is for us, we've got our headquarters here, we have several facilities over here, and we can see of course, everybody's talking about, the talent people and so on, but for us, at least here, we can find these good people and experienced people. So compared with other areas of the country, here we have seen really very good professionals. And for us, this is very important to make process efficient and to have the results we expect. So we are really very honored for being here, and we never will regret about the decision of setting up the investment here in Shelby.
I think out of all the plants I've ever built in different counties and in different states, by far Shelby Township and Macomb County was the easiest. And just how they're all stepping up to help us. Everyone can say very quickly how you can't do something, but Shelby and Macomb was there along the whole way, making sure that we could make this all possible.
And they welcomed us with open arms. They saw this as an opportunity for everybody, including the Shelby for the tax base. And we made it happen.
This is when we see RAM coming together, having that name badge here in our community and knowing that we have one of the prime suppliers here. I think it's just a fantastic story that we're able to celebrate.
Right, and this is one very important step, but we have to keep on growing here. We expect to achieve more than 1,500 employees in this company, so that's a very important project. I'm very happy for that.
We're very excited to be here. We still have openings left, and this is just the beginning of our journey as we continually grow the Antolin Shelby plan.
When someone makes a commitment like this to your community, you want to do everything you can to support it and make sure it's as successful as they hope it will be. Whether it's support with workforce, whether it's anything as far as making sure that they continue to connect with the community. That's what we're here to do in coordination with Shelby Township, and I think we got a winning partnership here.
Hopefully next time we can do it faster.
Okay, so you guys can see not only I think a great thing for Grupo, but great thing for the township.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, you stop and you think about it, you know, the willingness to want to locate here was for a reason, and one of the specific reasons wasn't just because of the fact they realized they could pull this together and they can make this happen and get this facility up, but they realized the talent that's here in Southeast Michigan. You know, I guess it's unmatched throughout the country. And so the employees that are there, giving them an opportunity for jobs and career opportunities, they realize they have the technical skills that's necessary to actually manufacture what they're trying to manufacture and be a successful company. So it has a lot to do with the workforce that they realize they have available to them here.
Would you see this part of the township kind of becoming a high-end tech hub for the county?
Oh, absolutely. I think when you go up and down Shelby Parkway, it is a high-tech alley, and I think even the governor made a statement about that too. And we were just talking at break about of the 8 new buildings that went up, 4 of them are actually headquartered right here, national headquarters here in Shelby Township for 4 companies, which I think is pretty outstanding. So, you know, as a result of all this, we can talk about the tax revenue and different things, but, you know, we've got about 1,500 workers now that did not have a job or have a better job and are standing a little taller today because of the fact that they're working and actually having a job that they enjoy, and they're a little more financially secure. And I think that's one of the big benefits of what's happened on Shelby Parkway.
And those employees, it's far different than what we used to see. If you look inside the facilities, and obviously those at home had an opportunity just to kind of with some of their videos, see what this facility looks like inside. You know what, that's similar to what you're seeing in many of these facilities, that Industry 4.0, where they're taking the technology. The workers now working in these facilities are not working in a factory anymore. And it's no longer this blue collar image of Macomb County. We call it the new collar worker. They have to have the technical skills, the expertise, and with that, as Rick had mentioned, I mean, they're good, high-paying jobs that give them affordable opportunities to raise a family and, you know, actually do well and look forward to, you know, growth and opportunities here in Macomb County.
Before 2012, there were no jobs, or actually, let me restate that. As of 2012, we now have 1,500 new jobs, and it'll soon become probably 2,000 in the next 6 months. So, yeah, it's just a great story for Shelby Township.
And I think it's an opportunity to plug that too. I mean, you stop and think about workforce now in Macomb County. We are probably at all-time highs as far as workforce numbers, very low when it comes to unemployment, but yet there's still 17,000 jobs available in Macomb County across all industry sectors for people to, I guess, have an opportunity for those jobs. And they're still looking for employees, you know,
Yes,
at these facilities.
absolutely.
You know, Grupo and the others, and they're always looking for that talent, and they're looking for some of the skilled workers.
Well, as it rains, it pours, and the next week, Cosworth, the British company, came in and they opened the factory here, had their grand opening. Governor Snyder came to visit and check everything out. Both you gentlemen were there. What were your initial thoughts on that?
Well, you know, it was kind of nice to hear the governor talk about Shelby Township as a high-tech alley, and that was just good to hear. Again, this is something that didn't even exist before 2012. And with the cooperation of, you know, the county and the state of Michigan and a great developer, Gene D'Agostini, we really made a lot happen in 5 short years. So it's good for jobs, it's good for the economy, and I can't say enough how nice it is that we've got new wealth that we've created that's going to really strengthen our local economy, and we'll be much stronger because of it.
North America headquarters, they could have went anywhere else in North America. They could have picked anywhere. Yet, for some reason, they picked this complex over here in Shelby Township in Macomb County, Michigan. I mean, that's an incredible statement, you know, and it's a testament, again, to the workforce, but also, I think, what we have in and around that corridor, that industry that we've got here. So, again, whether it's logistics, whether it's workforce, whether it's the fact that, you know, they got organizations or government structure that's willing to help make these things a reality in a very short period of time, it's here, and the word has gotten out. And so this isn't the first time the governor's been here for some kind of a grand opening, and I got to believe there's going to be many more before his term is up, and probably the next governor coming here, because the growth in this county has been incredible, and a lot of it attributed to what's happening in Shelby Township.
And I can't say enough about our Board of Trustees because they were also interviewed in the process too. So I think what they saw was a cohesive group working really well with the county, and the county working really well with the state. And I think when they saw that, it was kind of a spirit of cooperation that I think actually closed the deal.
A week after Grupo Antolín had their ribbon cutting, their Cherry Creek Corporate Park neighbor, British automotive engineering company Cosworth, began production at their new North American headquarters in Shelby Township. On hand to help get things started was Michigan Governor Rick Snyder.
Thank you, Ken, and what a better way to start out Monday morning in Michigan, right? This is awesome. They have this incredible company come here. And I want to start, though, by saying it's great to be here with my partners. County Executive Hackle, appreciate Macomb County, Shelby Township doing great work together, the MEDC. We're here just being really excited to say this is the beginning of a journey that I hope goes on for generations. If you think about Cosworth, what a wonderful company. It's one of the iconic companies of the auto industry. They've got a track record that is unsurpassed in motorsports. It's so exciting. They have the UK heritage, which they should be so proud of. I think we'll learn a little bit better about that. We'll have more tea here, I think, if nothing else. But in addition to that, it's great to have them choose Michigan. They could have chosen anywhere in North America. And they chose us. And we should say thank you to them. So on behalf of all of us, I say thank you to the leadership and management of this company for selecting me.
3, 2, 1. So we had a vision that we set forth 5 years ago, and it was to leverage our brand and our electronics and powertrain technology to be a provider for the car of the future. And when we researched the different markets and the needs of the market, we chose Michigan because of the power of the automotive technology and the power of the human capital that would enable us to succeed.
It's really exciting to have Cosworth putting their North American headquarters right here in Michigan. It's further affirmation of Michigan is back. We're the place to be for the auto industry and the emerging mobility industry. And as you take a tour around this, you can see it, you can feel it tangibly of what's going on. What Ford did last week was just another huge reinforcement point. So it's an exciting time in Michigan. 76% of all the research and development in the U.S. auto industry happens in Michigan. Think about that. That's a staggering percentage, 3/4. And that's why it's important for people to be here, because you want to design in, you want to be engineered into the future products.
And future products means jobs in the future, high-tech jobs. Something Macomb County needs to continue to move forward if it wants to stay relevant in the global manufacturing field.
We're going to be more than doubling the manufacturing equipment we have in here. Right now we're serving a program that starts at the end of this year. We have some other programs that we can't talk about due to the confidential nature, but we have booked business through 2026. So the area that you've seen here will be loaded with manufacturing equipment in 2019. So the CNCs we have, the 5-axis, we have 3, we'll have 14. The automation you see, this will run all the way to the wall at this end. It'll be fairly dense. We have some small pockets to add in some other premium niche volume. So in the next year though, you'll see this get loaded up, but we have been fortunate that some of the companies are talking just about alternative work as well. Some design and development, some potential manufacturing. So, and we plan to bring all that from the UK, not recreate it. They have a very robust process for design and development of powertrain, and that's one of the things we're really trying to get into here in the North American market. From a company standpoint, we look at North America as one of the biggest opportunities for our brand. It's known here, but it's not fully comprehended what we're capable to do, and that's why with this grand opening, we're trying to get that out to the public to say, hey, we're here in North America, we're here to serve this. We got good coverage of the market in the UK, but we're really here to help you guys now.
Well, gentlemen, as you can see, the governor seemed very impressed with the works, and it seemed like he was pretty impressed with Michigan's workforce, especially here in Southeast Michigan.
He's always been a champion for the workforce here in Macomb County, in particular the state of Michigan. But I think he has really got to hear and understand our story. You know, what we're doing as far as the educational foundation with our, if you will, our ISD that we have here, Macomb Community College. All the school districts are engaged in trying to figure out how do we provide that talent for them, so that pipeline, if you will, for talent. And even, you know, with the Michigan Works, trying to retrain people. So the governor, I know in particular, has an incredible fondness of Macomb County's efforts to try to figure out how do we develop that, but also the working relationship we have with the MEDC and our willingness to say, hey, we can find locations if they're looking and you're hearing about this. Michigan is a place they want to land. Come talk to us. We will find them the prime real estate and opportunities for them. And it's been a great partnership even with the state of Michigan.
Yeah, and I've got to say too, you know, we've got some great departments. I'm talking about our planning department and our also, you know, Tim Wood and what he does. But you know, when Gene and his team came and said, hey, we need to put this building up, typically it takes about 2 years to put up. We need to do it in 9 months. Well, we didn't exactly fall over our chair, but we thought, whoa, that is really aggressive. But we knew that, you know, Gene D'Agostini's got the capability. We believed in his leadership as well. And it was really a lot of trust that went into this. And it came off really well. I mean, what we've done in 5 years is quite an accomplishment. But each of these buildings, for the most part, have been built with under 12 months. And ordinarily, these buildings take much longer than that. So especially with our tough codes that we have in Shelby Township, I mean, that's quite a feat. So again, I can't underline that the cooperation with everyone just really paid off. And we could not have done this without the relationship between you and the governor and of course between the developer, Gene D'Agostini, and you know the capabilities that he and his family have as well.
And I think it's necessary to take a look back. I mean, if you stop and think about it, 10 years ago, you know, a decade ago, we had challenges. I mean, there were some issues, there were concerns. I mean, manufacturing facilities up and down, even some of our older established communities that have been around, they were shutting their doors, and people were trying to figure out what are we doing with these facilities that, you know, don't have the equipment, don't have technology, and they're not manufacturing anything out of them. We were concerned. We were concerned as to whether or not manufacturing was going to be our future, trying to figure out do we re-identify ourselves, but working with the state and kind of coming to the conclusion, you know what, if you're not making things, you're going to have a hard time as a community as far as economic development. So we stayed with it. We started working with those manufacturing facilities, and the turnaround has been incredible here in Macomb County, much less the state of Michigan. And to see what's happened, yeah, I'm telling you, that industrial corridor at Cherry Creek, it wasn't something that I think many of us thought, wow, this is going to be something in the next 10 years. A guy like Gene kind of saw it. He was concerned, I'm sure, but as he started seeing the economy coming back, working with us, partnering, and all of a sudden we come to the realization, now we are once again a powerhouse when it comes to manufacturing. From concept to consumer, there isn't anything that can't be done here in Southeast Michigan, in particular, allowing that incredible cluster of assets that we have from 696 out to 23 Mile Road and beyond, between Van Dyke and Mound Road. We can do it here in Southeast Michigan.
And 4 world headquarters right here on Little Shelby Parkway. I think that's unbelievable.
It is. It's a great story.
It's
especially if you look back 10 years.
Yep.
Who would have thought that we'd be sitting here celebrating all these grand openings of these facilities?
Well, as luck would have it, we have Gene D'Agostini with us right now. Gene, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about, obviously you know more a little background than I would. It's not just 2 buildings that we've been talking about here. There's a lot more that's been going on.
Well, it all started really after the downturn. I had the good fortune to be able to purchase the development from Lehman Brothers, who was undergoing bankruptcy. And it was just all about good timing. And once I had done that, I've always been of positive mind. I always thought this town's going to come back roaring. And fortunately it did. The activity that we've been able to create has really been the culmination of a partnership effort, and it was the township, the county, the state, everybody working together for an end, and the moons aligned, everybody cooperated, and we got some fantastic results.
And again, I go back to his vision. I mean, you stop and think about it. Vision without action is just a dream. And so what he was talking about was this vision, and then pulling people together to try to have it become a reality. And I think that's what you're seeing in particular in that corridor. So, your ears must have been burning as we're sitting here talking about you. Your name was mentioned, several times. But let's face the reality. You're the guy that was very forceful in trying to make sure that people understood what is possible and what can happen. It wasn't just about making a buck. I think some people will look at that and think, as a developer, he's a guy that's, he does well for himself. But it's a passion. I mean, you've had this passion, and I think it's kind of grown through your family over the years as well. So with that, you're very determined and to try to make it happen. And people see that, they can't help but want to be a part of it. And I think that's why you have our planning department with John, Paul, Ray, and our folks, and Glenn, and those that are from Shelby Township. And then we drag the state of Michigan comes in, and they're looking at it, and they get excited about the potential and the opportunities. And lo and behold, you have the governor here cutting a ribbon. So it's that passion people feel for your vision.
Well, Gene, let me ask you a question. Back in 2012, when you had this vision, do you really think 11 major manufacturing operations would be built in the next 5 years?
He's going to say no, 12.
I will tell you the results have exceeded my expectations. I always have had a positive outlook, but I can't tell you how happy I am with the results. Now, I will say, in my industry, oftentimes you get users who come to you and they need something yesterday. It's just the way, especially the automotive industry, the planning, the foreplanning doesn't occur the way it might otherwise should. So the customer comes to you and says, we need it yesterday. So what do? In my case, I was fortunate enough to have the land, to have a community, Shelby Township and Rick kind of leading the charge, and the board really being totally cooperative and helpful, and all the different department heads, pitching in and doing their part. But for that, and then the county's help and the state's help, these projects wouldn't exist. And so it's about a team effort, and it's just amazing what you can do with that team effort, and it's amazing how things get stifled without it. And I've lived through examples of both, and it's just a real feel good to be able to work in a community like Shelby and Macomb County, and to have everybody come in partnership and make these things happen. And it really is for the benefit of all. We certainly have profited by it, but the community and all the residents, we all benefit by it.
And the spin-offs. I mean, you talk about the restaurants, the gas stations, and everything else that's in and around Shelby Township. That's close proximity. I mean, you're seeing that obviously, if you will, multiplier effect of other businesses that are going to benefit as a result of it. So people working, getting jobs, wanting to build homes closer to their workspace. So I mean, there's more to it than just those buildings in and around that that corridor, if you will.
There is in economics, and I've been a student of economics all my life. In economics, there's a 4 multiplier. Mm-hmm. For every dollar of activity, there's about $4 in reactivity. So it
even more so for manufacturing, right?
Manufacturing, especially when you have manufacturing, the lifeblood of true economic well-being is being able to produce something that you export. For us to give each other haircuts and make meals for each other, that's all well and good, but you are not creating new wealth within the region. And these businesses that are here are definitely creating wealth that spans far beyond our immediate region, which is the best possible economic development you can have.
Gene, you mentioned something last week when I talked to you. Obviously, you got the Grupo building done in about 9 months. You said you were watching TV, a documentary on the History Channel about turning over plants like they did in World War II to create planes or whatever. And then you mentioned to me you'd like to build one in about 90 days.
Well, not in Shelby Township. We can do 9 months, but we cannot do 90 days.
I don't
know. No.
Maybe suggest St. Clair County. So.
I don't know if Tim.
Oh, wait. Maybe we can. No.
I don't think Tim would like me too much if I suggested 90 days.
I hope he's not watching.
But it's a true testament to our ability and the energies that can come out of this country
when you put your mind to it. You know, as I mentioned to you at previous occasion, you know, they built over 1 million square feet of factory facility to build airplanes during World War II in 90 days. I mean, just think about it, 90 days. It takes us 90 days to think about what we're doing nowadays.
The plans going.
Yeah.
And the technology and the type of equipment and things they were using back then is far different than it was today. I mean, so their ability to do that, like you say, I mean, it's you have to factor that into it, which makes it even more complex or even hard to understand or comprehend how they did it.
Truly amazing.
Well, Shelby TV's Courtney Bennett got a chance to put together a little video about some of the businesses that will benefit from bigger businesses here in Shelby Township.
Downtown Development Authority for Shelby Township, which is known as the DDA, is really designed to promote economic development within our DDA, I call it the Van Dyke Corridor District, and to enhance property values in our area as well. And our area goes from 26 mile now all the way down to 20 and a half mile road, we'll say, and is primarily that Van Dyke Corridor District.
Business is booming along the Van Dyke Corridor. Owners are happy on the locations they have chosen to help their restaurants thrive.
We just love Shelby Township, great group of people. We've had nothing but outpouring of support. It's just a great, great community.
It's only a mile away from home. It's kind of in the center of, you know, what we think is like our little downtown area, and just be a great place to try and, you know, make a business grow, really.
The people are fantastic. The community is great. They stand behind our businesses, all the businesses I think in the area, and they're very easy to wait on. They're very easy to take care of. I think they're not too picky. I think that they're very down to earth. There's a lot of families here. It's more of a family area, and that's really what we want to go for.
Awesome. We've had a lot of support. When we first opened, we had the construction going on for the first 6 months that I was open, so the community really has supported us and kept the doors open for us, so I think that the relationship we have is really strong.
I liked Shelby more. There's more population, there's more consistent business. I have more property to have parking, my own building, patio, which is very difficult to do in Royal Oak, downtown Detroit, and Birmingham right now. So I like this location a lot, and I jumped on it right away.
So we have these businesses that are seeing this economic improvement and this more expendable income that people have, and I think it's time to capitalize it in our area. We want to bring residents and developments that supports our community.
As the Van Dyke Corridor has expanded throughout the last couple of years, there is still room for growth, and the DDA is always looking for new business. Visit them online at shelbytwpdda.org.
So gentlemen, this not only benefits the businesses who just came into town, businesses next to them, but smaller businesses that may feed their workers, sell them items. What are your thoughts on how this is kind of a self-feeding thing?
Again, there's no question about it. The reciprocal effect, the impact that it has, a multiplier effect, is a big issue that's going to be beneficial to, I think, every company or business in and around the area.
And at minimum, you got 1,500 new people buying lunches, filling up their gas tanks, and, you know, buying groceries and what have you, and a few of them maybe even buying houses or renting. So it's all good for Shelby Township.
One of the concerns, though, people have wear and tear on the roads and how to keep roads improved and in good shape with more traffic on them.
Roads are always going to be an issue. It's the #1 priority. And again, the state is going to have to come up and understand they own this responsibility and come up with the funding necessary for it. So with that being said, I mean, you're talking 803 miles of roadway in Macomb County that needs full reconstruction. I need 44 bridges reconstructed, yet the total cost of that is $1.2 billion here in Macomb County alone today. And my budget is $56 million. Do the math. That's 20 years with my current budget moving forward. It's an impossible feat. But now you want to talk about adding lanes, adding roads. That's not factored into that $1.2 billion. So we are so woefully underfunded and inadequate as far as the funding. One good thing I did here is they're talking right now about this ruling that came out of the Supreme Court that dealt with online purchases, where I guess if you will, the Supreme Court said that, you know, now you can capture those taxes coming from it. There's a potential windfall for the state of Michigan, about $600 million. my suggestion to our legislature is to take a look at that $600 million, dedicate the lion's share of it, if not all of it, to road funding outside of Act 51 to try to figure out how do we deal with areas that have, you know, more lane miles as opposed to linear miles like we see in the north end. So I'm hoping that this legislature comes together with the reality that we've got to come up with a better funding formula outside of Act 51 to really have an impact on not only the crumbling roads we see right now, but the ones that we need to add as far as lanes for development that taking place that normally lags behind. And so it's a simple issue, but one that I think our legislator has to own and say, you know what, this is a priority, because it's a priority for development, it's a priority for commuters.
Absolutely.
In Shelby Township, it's always been a high priority. Even in 2009, 2010, 2011, when the economy was down, we still continue to spend money on roads. And even to this day, you know, we have more money than capability by the county. Well, the county's got capability, but they don't have the funding from the state. But if they did, we would be ready tomorrow to spend that money, just like the county would be ready to build more roads, resurface and what have you. So roads have always been a top priority. I think Shelby Township probably has the best roads in Macomb County, but it's not good enough for us. So we're going to keep working with the county, and I know the county is going to keep asking for money from the state so we can get our roads fixed and meet the expectations of our residents.
Gene, now you've dealt with some roads. Obviously, you're building buildings, and then, you know, roads have to be improved or widened. What are your takes?
Roads are critical to the functionality of these business operations. You have to have the access and the capability to move goods and services over these roads in a timely fashion. One of the considerations in our tenants, both Flexingate and Grupo, locating in Cherry Creek, was the just-in-time capabilities to the plants in Sterling Heights. They actually had to do time trials and demonstrate the ability to deliver on time. And so these road improvements are absolutely critical to us maintaining our presence and worthiness as a location for these industrial clients.
Not only to keep them here, but to attract them. And again, as Gene was mentioning, that was an attraction piece. In other words, knowing that we can do it now, but the question becomes when you start adding more and more of these companies, you know, it's a problem for commuters. I mean, the average people driving around the streets are not happy about the roads and the potholes and everything else they're getting to and from because of the traffic congestion. But as Gene mentioned, you know, this real-time, on-time delivery, you know, logistically, there has to be the right number of lanes. There has to be the egress, the accesses to the roadways that we have to have here. But again, now we're talking about adding lanes, adding more roadway. That becomes a problem because once again that adds to the cost factor of what we're already talking about. So we continue to talk. Obviously, as Rick had mentioned, one of the best partners we have is Shelby Township because they're willing to match on some of these projects moving forward. And even the state has been pretty supportive. We're still waiting for that 23-mile road final decision, which I do believe is there. I just hope it doesn't slip away.
We're counting on it big time.
I know.
Mark's talking about M53 and a 23-mile road where that's got to be expanded. And thanks for the good work by the county. Hopefully we'll get $2 million plus from the State Economic Development Fund so we can take care of that, redesign it, resurface, and hopefully minimize that traffic. Because right now, it used to be a C- and it's probably in a D- range right now. And even with about a $2.5 million investment, the best we can do is get it up to about a C- again. And in order to get it anything above a C-, someone told me we need about, $21 million to expand that bridge. Not going to happen in my lifetime. Yeah. But we do need that money from the state, and thank you very much for your help, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, in case you folks were wondering too where we're at right now, we're at the Hampton Inn in Shelby Township. I'd like to thank them for hosting the show here today. Pooja Sharma is their regional manager. I'd like to thank her especially. Gentlemen, this is kind of just one of the examples of business coming in after business. Obviously, this hotel is made for business travelers coming in. I see a lot more of this coming on in the future here for Shelby Township as well as the county.
You get some unbelievable chocolate cookies, by the way. I just had one before the show started, and I'm just hoping I don't have any on my cheek or my lips right now. I need a napkin. So, nice place, beautiful.
It is. It's very nice. Gentlemen, thanks again for being on the show. Gene, thanks for visiting.
Thank you.
We appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Rick, Mark, thanks again. We'll see you next time on location here. Okay. Take care, everyone.